All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo. We're back here on the Mayo Media Network. We got the Ship It Nation collaboration. Another one I came out with, my guy Hoop, myself, ready to go through all things round 2 Charles Schwab Challenge. Crazy first day. If you want to find my guys, they're all at +2. I think literally every single one of them. So we'll see. We'll go down and check all that stuff out, Hoop. But how was your first day, my friend? What's going on?
Yeah, I got a lot of the +2 guys as well. So that's somewhat tilting, but I guess the good news is they're not too far off in terms of the cut. I mean, right now it's, right around 1. So really only 1 stroke off potentially with the +2 score. So a lot of guys in that range are part of my teams as well. Hopefully they can bounce back tomorrow. There's scoring out there, but I mean, it is somewhat challenging too. So, a little 2-3 under, right back in there. I mean, we had the one big score, 8 under from what's his name? Hall, Harry. Is it Harry Hall? Yeah, Harry Hall. He'll fall back, I'm sure, tomorrow, and things will balance out a little bit. But it's it was an interesting round. I mean, there's some scores, some good scores, and some really bad scores.
Yeah, and just looking at, you said it too, it's kind of a fun update. Some people like it on these shows, but just to go through it for tomorrow, if you are wondering, right now, currently 38.7 for even, 34.3 for +1. So anybody on that +2, obviously there's other guys. I got Putnam, I got Shank, Shelton, some of the guys up there. But going down the board, you go to +2 right now, and that's why I was making fun of it. Finau, Spieth, Sungjae, Kirky, Hostler, Steven Yeager, Patrick Rogers, Ryan Palmer, Woo, Hardy, literally every guy, man. Like, they're all right there. So, and then some at 3 and some at 1. So there's lots of opportunity tomorrow for guys to bounce back. I know I talk about this all the time, Hoop. Going into round 2, I love round 2 because it's just going to be quick overreactions. Did anyone play Harry Hall on the main slate? No. Doesn't mean he's going to be the highest owned guy on the slate. People definitely avoid the leaders too. There's that to be said, but I'm just saying there's going to be probably more ownership than should be there based on today's 62 bogey-free round. See where you're at when we get to that later. But lots of other stuff. Guys like Carson Young coming out today, gained almost 4 strokes with the putter, and it got to 1 under, little things like that. So there's a lot to play out still. We'll see how things look by the end of it. I'm going to sort the leaderboard. We are going to go by the pricing to this week. We've got the full round in. Last week was a little bit tougher, and it worked out perfect. But this week, we're going to bounce back to the normal style. But before we dive in, Hoop, I want to talk to you really quickly about this weather tomorrow. Tough how you want to interpret it. It doesn't look, again, it's windier in the morning for sure. If you go to the super forecast and look and see that on for Friday, it looks like 5 to 8 miles per hour, and then gusts of 13, 8, 9, etc. there. In the afternoon, it drops down to 2 to 5 with 3 to 7. But is it really enough? And then on top of it, the temperatures are still pretty good in the morning. And we talk about this all the time. Sometimes it's easier just to come out in the morning, throw up a number because there's no real stress, and the guys in the afternoon know they have to hit a number to make that cut. So any thoughts on the weather for tomorrow before we dive into the rest of the stuff?
It's not enough for me to really make it a part of who I choose in my lineups tomorrow. I really, for me to start making that be a deciding factor, I'm looking for 10 to 15 sustained with those gusts, maybe around 20, and then a big difference of maybe 5 miles an hour on the sustained wind, and then maybe 10 miles an hour in the gust. That's when I'm really starting to use weather as a factor. It's just it's not blowing hard enough for me to really factor it into my lineups tomorrow.
Yeah, I talked about it in the slate plan over at Ship It Nation. If you guys want to get in now, you can still do so. Well, we've got our promo pricing on. It's $59 a month or $5.99 for the year. To break it down for you quite simply, it's going to include everything that we offer for the one low price. But here's the breakdown. We've been transparent what the price is going to. It's scratched out on the site. It's going to go to $69 and $6.99. If you take the $59 a month over the 12 months, it's $708. So basically the benefit of joining right now, even at the $59 a month, it's very affordable. It's going to include everything there. When we add an optimizer, that'll be the only thing that's extra because it's an outside deal. But just so you know, the $59 is $708. It's basically like you're getting our normal annual savings, but you're able to pay it monthly. So just keep that in mind. If you are checking it out after tonight, you'll get the full player pool we decide on for the Showdown slate. You'll get Hoop's 3-man core. You'll get my my core, and it's a report with notes on each guy that we're playing. Then we're in the Discord, of course, talking through strategy and whatnot. But Hoop, let's dive in, man. Let's talk about this. Going right to the top, Scotty Scheffler, 11-6. Let's go down to 9K. Your guy, Ricky Fowler down there, your boy. Him, not a bad day. He did bounce back so far. It's one day in, but Scotty's still the talk up top. I mean, it wasn't really anything special, and he still shoots 3 under. It's just Scotty Scheffler, man. That's what we expected. Will you be going back tomorrow? And then what do you do with the rest of these guys in this range?
That's a rhetorical question, really, at this point in terms of Scotty. I mean, I'm just playing him. I mean, the guy is phenomenal. Didn't really do anything today and still shot 3 under, which is like a tie for 7th place. So, if he has his A game, he's going to shoot like 6 under or something tomorrow, maybe even 7. He's just the best. Just going to continue to play him over the other guys. And this was one range on the main slate that I got right. This upper tier, just played Scotty, faded the other guys, played a little Morikawa. He had the disastrous, I believe it was like his 9th hole today, had that, I think it was a triple. When I play him, it doesn't go right. So I'm playing as much Scotty as possible going into tomorrow. The other guy in this range that I might take a look at, maybe I go to Hovland potentially, but I don't feel great about it. I mean, it's going to be a ton of Scotty for me, which means the rest of these guys are going to fall by the wayside a little bit. Hovland, Finau, Morikawa, I'm likely to fade those guys. Jordan Spieth was the interesting one, very highly owned. What is he, 3? He's 2 over. So he's one of those guys. He could bounce back. Maybe I play a little bit of him tomorrow again. I have a lot of them on the main slate. Double down a little bit. I guess the answer, if you're looking for another spend after round 1, which would have been Max Homa, but I think it was a lot of long putts he made. I know at least 1 or 2 like really long ones. So he's not like a must for me on the slate, but he played well today. So maybe get a little bit. Our guy Sung Jae, we were both on him last week. Dead last, I'm assuming somewhere in that range. Played him on the main slate, 2 over. I mean, he started out nice. I believe he got to 2 under and then kind of fell apart down the stretch. I'll probably just fade him here round 2. I have enough on the main. Fleetwood, I'm going to keep playing him. He was even today. That's obviously not great, but it's within in the cut line. He's been solid overall, so I'm gonna go to him tomorrow. Sam Burns, I don't know. I'm just not playing Sam Burns. I don't know what it is with him. I just never like to play him. He's one of those guys when I look at him, there's something about him that bothers me. I don't know why. I honestly have no idea. I can't put my finger on it. I just look at the guys like this is one of those guys that just annoys me just looking at him, which leads to me not playing him much in DFS, and I'm not going to play him tomorrow. Rose, Fowler, going to continue to be in on. I was in on both of them pretty big on the main slate. Flower opened up with, I believe, a bogey and then bounced back quickly, made some birdies, 2 under. So, yeah, definitely as much Scotty as possible. Fleetwood, Rose, Fowler. So for me in this range, it's up top with Scotty and then a lot of the guys closer to 9K.
Yeah, I'm going to like a lot more guys when we get down below, not just because of the love for Scotty and sticking with it, but I'm going to make one interesting case in a sec at least. But some of the other guys, Homa, Spieth, Fowler, who you mentioned, and then maybe some Justin Rose. But the other guy here that I want to talk about, you mentioned Hovland maybe and some of the other guys there, but Morikawa, horrible on paper. You go look right now, you see 3 over, guy's horrible, price is up, all these factors. But you go look, he lost a stroke and a half on approach. Listen, we do this every single week in Showdown. What does everybody do? Oh, this guy was good on approach, but he just couldn't find it with the putter. Got to play him, right? Because he's going to find it with the putter. No, sometimes these guys just suck and they can't putt and it doesn't work out and they don't find a putter. A guy like Morikawa, though, how can you not say it the other way? What if he can he find his irons? He's literally one of the best iron players in the world. So the only reason I say that is because if you look here, hole 9 today, I said this, he lost a stroke and a half on approach. He lost almost 2.5 strokes on 1 hole. So when I look at it from that perspective, then you go see his back 9 is a 2 under bogey free. 2 under bogey free on the back 9, gaining approach on almost every hole. That's where I'm sure that people just look at it and go, guy's horrible, lost huge strokes, 3 over, useless. He could definitely battle back tomorrow and should be under-owned at 10-2. I wouldn't suspect too many people go back to a guy sitting 96th place who they're just, it's another guy that's done. I'm going to play Scotty, Spieth, the rest of the guys around him. So I like that guy up here in this range as well. Anything else for you in there? If not, we can hop down to this sort of, let's do 8K up to 8,900 real quick. There's just a few guys in there for me, and then it gets a little bit busy after that.
Yeah, Chris Kirky, somewhat disappointing. 2 over. Again, I just like when I have a decent chunk of someone on the main slate and going into like the round 2, like I'm fine using it as like a hedge a little bit if they need to, if they have to play well to kind of make the cut. And that's kind of a situation with Kirk. Probably not playing him here. Siwoo I didn't play. Denny McCarthy I could go back to at 8,700. He was up to like 1 under, I believe, at one point, finished 1 over. He'll have to make some birdies tomorrow, most likely. So I'm fine with him. Your guy Henley played well at 2 under. Cam Davis just continues to play solid golf. Played him on the main slate. Cool going back to him. Jaeger's going to fall into the Chris Kirky category for me, where I have a lot of them on the main slate. If he plays well together, that'll be good for my main team. So fine being off of him. KH Lee, I kind of like him a little bit. Brian Harmon, just going to continue to fade him. He was even today, but man, it's been a rough stretch for him overall. Taylor Moore, 8.1K, like him, especially like him in showdown formats because he can kind of rack up a lot of birdies. And then Tom Hoagie, I don't know what the deal, 4 under today, hadn't been playing well. Curious to see your thoughts on him.
Well, he's going to be popular because here's the thing. This is the guy that is 4 under. And if you go look at the stats and everyone goes to the same similar places and whatnot, I think he was literally number 1 on approach by what? Again, over the third, best way to put it is this. He's over a stroke more gained on approach than the third place guy. So you can see that and look at it from that perspective. So, and he lost almost a stroke with the putter. So he's going to be popular. When you see a guy striking the ball that well, it makes sense. But again, this is it's different than the Collins situation because the one thing I will say, it's one hole. Like on hole 7, he gained almost 2 strokes on approach, but he's almost 4.5 on the day. So he did pick it up a bunch of other holes. He was dialed all day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like 10 or 11 holes where he was good on approach, even regardless of that stroke on that 1 hole 7 where he gained 2 strokes. So you want to knock him down, go ahead. But if you think the ownership drives too much there and you want to get off it, I've got no problem with that when you look at it and dig a little bit deeper. But really beyond the hole out, he still had 4 other birdies, only 2 bogeys. Like it was still a really good round otherwise. So see what others do with it. But I think at 8,000, that's below average. This guy is definitely going to come in with some ownership. So to each their own when it comes to that. I like a couple other guys. I like Siwoo up top at 3 under right now. I like Cameron Davis. And then KH Lee, who you mentioned, I think he was one that stood out to me that I want to pull up here quick. KH Lee, pretty solid across the board. 4 birdies, only 2 bogeys, gained on approach on a bunch of holes. Again, just it's almost like I call it the right way, Hoop. It wasn't the Hoagie hole out. It's just playing great golf and making some putts. Some of them aren't dropping, so he makes pars, but he still throws 4 birdies on the card. So you can easily see him do 4 again or 5. Like you could see that again out of him sitting at T22, a little further down the board around that range with guys like Cameron Davis and Hoagie and Benny N. That's another guy who's coming up here. He's at 7,900. He was another guy. I think he was like almost 3 strokes on approach. Yeah, he had the 4 birdie stretch in a row on the back 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, only 2 bogeys, 5 birdies total. So I definitely think a guy like KH Lee squeezed in the middle there. And you said out on Harmon, but what was your reasoning on that? I was kind of thinking he was all right, actually.
Yeah, I just haven't been playing him. He's been playing like shit. I mean, I'm just kind of over Harmon. Like he's got to prove something to me over like a longer stretch for him to be back in my good graces. Yeah,
he gets like today 3 birdies, 3 bogeys, done. It's even, you know what I mean? Like, but when you do look at the rest. Again, another guy that just did it the right way, and his approach was dialed, so he does need to make some putts. But he's another guy. I
was always a big Harmon guy. I mean, Harmon was one of my guys like last year, and then just kind of fell apart. So again, I got to see something for a longer period of time to get back on him. And then it's like even like is he like? I don't view him as like a scorer type guy anyway. So maybe more of like a main slate play instead of a showdown play for me.
Famous last words, but
I know. He's going like 6 under tomorrow for sure.
It definitely makes sense, though. I hear what you're saying. It's like a guy that's going to be solid, tougher track, come through, make a cut for you, have that one day where it's like 3 or 4 under, and then after that, it's like, what did he do? And he sneaks into a 41st or something. Could see that overall and looking at it from that perspective. Let's move down, though. Let's go to this 7K range. We got Benny Ann, who I just talked about. Let's go down to 7,500 with like Dietrich, Rogers, Hostler, Palmer, all that stuff. What do you got here in this range?
Yeah, many more plays here for me, guys that I like. Right at the top, Benny On played him on the main slate. He's like 4%. I think ended up like 10%, somewhere in that range. and he was up there. He's like 5 under at one point. Finished finished 3 under. I'll definitely going back to him. I mean, it's a long stretch of pretty solid golf for him. Brendan Todd's a guy a lot of people talked about. Have a little bit of him on the main slate, but really good course fit for him. Really good course fit. He finished 1 under. Good with that. Min Woo Lee. I think I ended up fading him on the main slate, but 3 under. And like, he's probably a better showdown type player than like main slate player. I mean, he's got these spike performances. 3 under today for him. I'm good going back. Rio. I have a decent bit of him on the main slate. He was very solid at 3 under. When he's on his game, like, this course should fit him pretty damn well. Buckley, man, he was 2 under at one point, and then it was just like an onslaught of bogeys. Had a couple really good teams with him that he's obviously going to have to make a little bit of a run to get back into it at 3 over. Eric Cole was solid again, 1 under for him. I'm good with that. Harris English, man, one of my last cuts on the old main slate, and he got to the 5 under, which was somewhat surprising. For Showdown, I'll probably fade him. Now ownership has to follow him here, being in second place. I believe it's solo second. Yeah, so I'll fade him. Hostler have enough on the main slate. Same with Rogers. A lot of these guys at 2 under a lot of these guys at 2 over that need to make up some ground tomorrow that I have on the main slate. I'm just not going to be playing here, and that's like Hostler. Rogers going to definitely be out on those guys. Same as Palmer. I have a decent bit of Palmer. I mean, for it being the 5th major in his eyes, like, man, he laid an egg today. So hopefully he can bounce back. But more so the guys at the top, Benyon, Minwoo, Griot. I didn't mention Kitayama, but I'd be fine going back to him. Cole, those 4 or 5 are the ones I'm looking at here.
I'm going back to Kitayama after last weekend. That was a guy that just kept doing it for me. So I'm going to continue on with him. I guess Cole could be interesting. One thing I was going to say, the guy that I'll definitely be out on here is Grillo. Like, if he wants to keep making putts like that, he never does. And it just feels like someone that everyone's going to feel safe with. I know he was already a guy people liked on the main slate. So it's like, here's the thing. Grillo, Hostler, Rogers, and I'm going into the next range, but it's right there at 7,400 with the Nick Taylors, the JT Postons, the Patrick Rogers, Hostler, and him. People are going to be more comfortable going back to him because he had the good round. He had some good approach. He made some putts, all that. They'll just say, I'll just go to him instead. But when you go down the board, I think people are going to overlook the guys that had a bad day today. All that, the other 4 that I mentioned, Palmer, Hostler, Rogers, Nick Taylor, even the 5th, Poston. I'm deciding on who it's going to be. Let's talk through that little group here for a second. I'll try and pull some of their stats, because here's the thing. Everybody loved them for the main slate. Yeah. But now everyone hates them in round 2. That's just the standard that we see every single week. That's why the round 2 edge is always the best. It's like, where are you going to go here now? Okay, Poston lost 2 strokes on approach almost. It was fairly even. Like, he just did not have it, barely had it off the tee, and couldn't make a putt. So you can look at that from that perspective. I'm going to do these quick 5. Palmer, very solid off the tee, not really good on approach, lost huge on approach, lost huge with the putter, like Poston. But a Hostler had it off the tee, had it around the green, couldn't make a putt. I think Hostler would be the guy for me I would start with if I had some interest here and just go back to the well there. Rogers really had it off the tee, had it for most of the way with the approach. I think he's the other guy for me. And then I'm just going to make a decision on Nick Taylor. Again, you guys don't have to do these guys. I put them in my pool. I'm happy to take other guys out like Grillo when we get to Harry Hall, guys like that. I just don't care. If those guys beat me again, they can do it. If everybody loved these guys yesterday, they have one bad round and now everybody hates them. That's when I'm going to go back, and you can just tell how people are going to build right now, and no one's going to go into this range. So,
no, that's a good point. Maybe I'll circle back and reconsider some of those guys. To be honest,
Nick Taylor, I think it's just going to be Hostler and Rogers for me. But I'll let you take over the range and then just keep going down from there. We got Justin Suh, who seems good for Showdown, and you can drop down that range. There's some other guys in there as well.
Yeah, a lot of guys for me. I mean, it's probably pretty clear how I'll be building my teams. A lot of Scotty, a lot of these guys in the 7Ks, the lower 7Ks get even more appealing. Batia, I'm cool with him. Justin Suh continues to play solid, 2 under, good with him. My guy Matthew Neesmith, we talked about him quite a bit on the Wednesday show. He's even today. I'll be going right back to him. Your guy Putnam showed up nice with a 4 under. Can definitely get behind that. My favorite in this range is definitely going to be Ryan Fox. I'll just keep playing this guy. I think he's just better than the price tags they keep putting out for him, and he just continues to produce. So Fox at 7.2 will be a guy I'm heavy on if you are a member at Ship It Nation. Pretty good chance he ends up in my core for round 2. I'll tell you that much. I'll give you a little freebie, 1 out of 3 freebie. Ryan Fox. Okay, I'm most likely going to have him in there. Sepp Straka, 7-2, played solid last week. I like him. I like Nate Lashley. I have a lot of Nate Lashley on the main slate. He was 2 under. Good with that. Oh, poor Mr. Block, man. Michael Block. I mean, it had to be like the most obvious play out of all time. What sort of, did he get decent ownership? I didn't even look on the main slate.
I don't think so. Actually, that's so funny you said that. I didn't even look. I'm going to check as we speak, but I got a thing. Like I'm always honest. I mean, the story was incredible.
Yes.
It's good. I get it. But man, it was really, honestly, people can say what they want, but I don't care. This guy coming on when he makes the hole in one, first of all, really, did that go in? No, the crowd just went fucking insane for no reason. Like, obviously it went in, and maybe he's like playing the card of like, oh, it didn't go in. Like, I got to know first, but he had to like even hit up Rory. Like, Rory, just want to talk. Like, did that go in? Like, yeah, it went in, dude. It's an amazing moment. Be happy. That's okay though. Yeah. But then
it was overblown, man.
He goes on the next show, and they talk to him about something about Ryder Cup points. He's no way. No, are you serious? Like, you know how this stuff works, man. You've been around the block. You're 40 something. You definitely know how this works.
Around the block. I like what you did there. I mean, they just naturally flow for you at this point.
And then the one with the Rory. If he's like, he can't. Is Rory better? Would you say Rory's better than you? It was like the most condescending type funny question that he asked him, and he goes, "I can tell you this: if I had Rory's length, I'd be crushing it out there." It's like, man, that's just not how it works.
I'm with you.
So, I don't know. I saw some guys laugh about it. Like, if you could have found him DFL, and people were like, I looked everywhere to get him. I don't even know how it ended up finishing. I think he was.
I don't see anyone worse than that. It might be by a pretty wide margin. Like, I don't see anything.
Who has it? 2.25%. Show yourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
where?
Right. Yeah, it was. Oh my God, I didn't even see it. Got that.
4. He's 11 over. I mean, there's a 4. He's down there by 4 strokes.
And then he has to get the interview because they can't stop the parade, and it had to be like, he goes, everything I was caught up in last week. Sometimes you just gotta chalk it up to that's just golf. That's how she goes, bud. So we'll have to see. But anybody else down in this range for you? I got a couple others. I like your Fox call.
Yeah, there's a lot for me here. Where Mr.
71, 72 range.
Eckroat, good with him. Ben Griffin as well, 3 under. He's at 7K. I think that's a solid price tag. It's a range I'll be in. I'll be living in this range. Alex Smalley, I'll add to the list at 7-3. He's even. He can score. We talked about him a lot on last week's shows. So there's a lot for me down here. The way I'm building my teams, I'm going to be here quite a bit.
Yeah, this range is good, and it makes everything work up top too. And funny enough, like I said, that's where you can get a little bit different here, almost like on the main slate this week, where all the guys now. So right now with the Buckley, the Hostler, the Rogers, that range that I went through, what ends up going on is you see that range yesterday. They were all the guys that were down in the bottom 7K, and we were talking about if you could skip that range. We talked about this on the premium show at Shippin' Nation about roster construction and more game theory stuff, and I think that's what the people like because. They were like, how can you get different in a single entry? It doesn't mean it's going to work out. And I played some of these guys too. I like this range, but there's little things you can do. I always say it's not who you play, it's how you play them, or it's how you get around them. We talked about this yesterday. Now it's the opposite hoop. Everyone wants to play the guys in this low 7K range again, but it's leaving those guys open in that $7,500 price point. So Hostler and Rogers at least stand out a little bit for it. He's same price as the main slate Hostler, but just going down the board, there's some others. Couple others. We can do a Billy Horschel. I called this yesterday with Mayo, making fun of it. I said, getting the caddy back and the course setup and that stuff, maybe could be something. And it's only one day, but 5 birdies, 2 bogeys, very solid numbers across the board. Really didn't have us around the green game, but made up for it with the putter. Off the tee approach, completely dialed.
Do you have the splits, the morning and afternoon splits?
I think it was 0.5. I looked it up earlier.
Morning advantage?
I forget. I'm assuming so. I didn't
yeah. It just seemed like it was a little easier. So he went out early, and I think he made bogey on the first hole, and then kind of took off a little bit. So I could play some Billy. I mean, if he's right, if he's 90% back, whatever that is, like this price tag's way too cheap for him at 7.1K. Like last year when he was playing pretty well, if he's in this field, he's probably like a 8K guy, right? I mean, he's probably that's where he typically would be priced.
He would have been last year, I guess. I mean, I don't know. The argument actually could be made he would have been higher because I know he was in the 8K range at Memorial, which is this time last year. Memorial's next week, and he won the Memorial at like 8,800 or something. So in this field, this time last year, he probably would have been more than that.
Yeah, if he's back to where he was last year, I mean, you're looking at $1,000 to $1,500, too cheap. So yeah, maybe I do play some Billy. I mean, I didn't play him on the main slate, but yeah, that's something to look at for sure. 3 under, tied for 7th, 7,100. Yeah, I think you might have just sold me on some Billy Horschel for tomorrow.
Another guy I like there that I think less will go to because he's 33rd. Again, Eckroat, who you mentioned, is there too. But if you go to Ben Martin, really solid day on approach. 5 birdies, split them up. Yeah, bogeys fell in there too. But in Showdown, that actually doesn't kill you as much anyway. And there was also 2 different opportunities. He didn't close the streak early with 7, and then he made it on 9 and 10, which is always nice because 11's the par 5. Didn't close it on the par 5, lost up with the putter, so he must have missed something somewhat short to close out that streak. So I kind of like that little setup as well coming into tomorrow for him. Eckroat was another guy, really bad around the green, but everything else was pretty much dialed in. So, and we know he can go low. So I like that call there at the bottom. What did you talk about, Ben Griffin?
Yeah, in on him. Yeah, 3 under. I mean, a guy that he hasn't been playing well. I mean, he's missed 4 out of his last 5 cuts, but went on a nice little stretch. Yeah, and then like these weaker field events, like this is his time to kind of shine. And he had been playing in some tougher ones. You look at where the hell is he? What's his price? 7K. Yeah. So I mean, he was at the PGA Championship, tough field. He was at the Wells Fargo, tough field. So yeah, those are 2 of his last 3 events where he missed a cut. Like, yeah, I like him going into tomorrow for sure, round 2.
Yeah, let's move into the 6K range. I'll just say off the top, one guy that looks really good on paper that I think I'll be off tomorrow is Adam Schenk. Just looking at it, again, it looks incredible from the approach and the around the green and the 4 under, and it was a bogey-free round. Everything was awesome. But if you go back and look too, it's just, again, really, really approach heavy on the front 9, like just certain holes that really, like, he gained almost 3 strokes on approach. Almost 2 of those strokes are across 2 holes. Lost it a little bit on the back. Didn't really capitalize on any of the par 5s. You could make the case of what if he does tomorrow and lose elsewhere? Sure. But then if you go look at the other stuff, almost lost a full stroke off the tee, putted as he normally does, just basic. So if people go there because he's the cheap guy to make everything work, I think there's definitely some of the guys we just gave above, and I've definitely got other guys below that I think you could go to as well that others just won't go back to. So who are some of the guys in the 6K range that you like?
Yeah, just pulling up the leaderboard. I feel good. Anyone that's like 4 under or better, just kind of being off. Maybe Putnam's the exception for me, Robbie Shelton. But like, I'm not playing Hall, I'm not playing English, I'm not playing Shank. Like, those are guys I'm definitely off. It's just I don't know, like there's just too many good guys like behind them to play besides going up to the top of the leaderboard where that's where the ownership always kind of consolidates. So Shank is no for me. Your boy Noren, you talked about him on the Wednesday show or yesterday's show, but I'm still not playing him. I'm sure you are. I've not played his ass. I
don't think I had him tagged here, actually, to be honest. It was something I just saw. I think he gained like almost 2.5 or 3 with the putter. So
okay,
this is what he could do. That is what he did. But again, that was another guy that it's same price again, 6,800, same as the main slate, where it was just the thought process around if you're betting on long-term talent, you could say maybe it's a little bit too cheap, like the Billy Horschel at 7,400. You know the risk you're taking, but you want to get there before everybody else does. So that's why you take some of those shots.
Yeah. Hubbard in on at 6'9", liked him on the main, like him here. Same with Norman with 2 R's, even 6.8K. Going to go back to him. Carson Young, did you say it was all putter with him, or what was his deal?
Yeah, Young is funny because he gained almost 4 strokes with the putter. It was almost all putter, and still only somehow got to 1 under.
Yeah, I'll still play his ass though. He's been playing good golf. He's been playing good golf for us. So I'm still in on Young. I played a lot of them on the main slate. I'm going back. Michael Kim, going back to him, 3 under. Played really well. Like these are the guys I'll play instead of like the 4 under guys. Like Michael Kim, I think is really looking really solid here. Kazire, played him on the main slate, 6.6K. I'm good going right back there. Shelton at 4 under. I mean, man, I don't know. Like I really liked him on the main slate. Played a good chunk of them. He's one of the guys at 4 under I think I could play. I think you liked him too. We talked about it yesterday.
We liked Ryan. That's why I said he's one guy we got up there right now. He was 6,400 on the
Yeah. We talked about it yesterday quite a bit, and I think that was a guy you're like, why do you like him? I was like, I don't know. I kind of always like him, and he can score, and he obviously got the job done today. Smotherman, I always play Smotherman. Like, so tilted because he got right up to like 4 or 5 under immediately. Finished at 3 under. I might keep him in my player pool at 6.5K.
When he went out, I just want to see something real quick because I have the setup here for what the tee times were.
I mean, he went super early. I think he was one of the first guys off. He had to have been today.
So here's the thing. This is why you want to look at this sometimes. So everyone's like, you look at his numbers right now. I just pulled it up, so I want to double check. He's T7. Stats are pretty good, except you go through it. Crushed the back 9. 4 birdies right away.
Is it easier? Is it back 9 easier?
I'm not saying that as much as like everyone's going to assume like, well, he started slow, but then he heated up. No, he started on T10.
Yeah, he was on fire.
Came out of the gate super hot, and then he didn't make after hole 9 for him, which was 18. Hole 9 for him was 18. He made 3 bogeys, nothing. He was 3 over on the final 9. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen anymore. That doesn't really mean that much. I'm just saying when people look at it, it sometimes gets misconstrued. That's something I would take away. So I actually don't think I have as much because he's a guy that people missed out on.
Yeah.
People missed out on Smotherman.
I mean, he was like, literally, I think he was like 0.2%, which pisses me off because I always play Smotherman. Somehow I didn't play him. I always play Smotherman.
So now people like that think like that say, how do I get my Smotherman action? Oh, let me.
Yeah, but like it hurts even more. But it hurts more for a guy like me that always plays him, right?
I just X these guys and move on.
Yeah, I'm always on Smotherman. Like he's my boy. I'm always playing him. So when he does well at 0.2%. It pisses me off, but maybe
these could be terrible. But I'm off Shelton with all the strokes around the green and the putter. Yeah. I'm off Smotherman with the FOMO of people that missed out. I'm off Harry Hall as the leader.
Definitely not playing Hall. I'm with you.
And I'm off Lee Hodges he's the real Hoagie version of like the hole out. He had nothing going for himself until the hole out. So that to me, where all his stuff comes from on stats. I'll play Andrew Novak though. I think he's interesting at T22. Down the board, no one thinking about it. What about your guy, Callum Tarrant?
Of course, man. Of course, I'm going back.
Not the best, but 4 birdies on the card still. There's a par 5 out there he missed.
Talked about him yesterday. Approach. I got a good chunk of him on the main. I will go back at 1 under. Same with who's that 2? Oh, Mr. Ramey. 2 under, 6,400. Like, I mean, perfect. He's perfect pivot off a Hall. I mean, Hall's obviously getting the ownership at 8 under. Give me Ramey at 6.4. And there's one more guy down here that I'm pissed off I didn't play. My guy Malnati shot 1 under today, 6K flat. Like I'm definitely going back to him. Not going back. Well, I can't say going back to him. I'm going to him. Another guy that I always play that I did not play on the main slate. I will have some Malnati. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I think there's very viable guys down here. The same story as yesterday when we talked. Like there's not much of a difference between these guys and some of the guys in the lower 7s.
Yeah, one guy I forgot to mention. The chat just reminded me of it. It's Antonio for his own reasons. I'm guessing he says Davis Riley is the most tilting player ever. Yeah, I'm going back to him. He's a guy I talked about on the show yesterday, and not everyone was connecting the dots. Everyone was talking about Ryan Palmer and how he tears this place up. Riley has Palmer's old caddy. Remember, so I was going through that stuff. And then you go look at Riley today, 4 birdies on the card, didn't make it on the par 5s, which I would expect him to usually be better on. Very solid on approach, evenly across the board on both the front and back 9. Didn't really have it off the tee. It cost him a little, but if he can just correct that some, I think the rest of his game sets up well. So I think he is a guy that I can go to in there. He's at 7,200. I'll have to make some decisions because I don't want to play everyone. If you had to rank Sepp Straka, Ryan Fox, obviously Ryan Fox is your one. So Straka or Davis Riley, who would you pick?
Straka, man. I'm not like Riley. Man, he just hurts me, man. Like he was like someone that was like on their way up. Like he was working his way up.
He did just win. He won the team event with Nick Hardy.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Come on, you got to
get that team. Get the team event out of here. That doesn't. That
I
doesn't
really
count.
wish they would, but yes.
Yeah, that does not count. Like a guy that was working his way up. I mean, he was a legitimate contender, like week in and week out. And then when you just see like all these cuts and just, I can't. I can't do it, man. But I get it. I mean, there definitely is some upside baked in there, but he's one of these guys. I got to see some consistency out of him before I get back on board. I used to play him a lot. I always played him.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So I might just leave it with Sepp Straka. I don't know. Riley,
Yeah.
I just had a feeling on. We'll see. It'll be Riley or Sepp Straka.
I mean, he's won over. I mean, he's definitely. I mean, when he's right, he's making birdies. So I get it. I get it.
Fire at him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I definitely get it. He's gonna have to make birdies tomorrow.
Seeing if I like anybody else here. Who was it? Justin Lower was one guy. Was on the main. He ended up coming out even. I think he's at least somewhat interesting. I wanted to look up Kramer Hickok too live while we were here, but it's not coming up for some reason. Oh yeah, there it is. He lost almost 2 strokes with the putter. Left the par 5s out there. A couple birdies, decent across the board. Could take a shot on him. And then there was one other guy down here. You said Malnati. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. The other guy. Remember we talked about Troy Merritt? This guy came out and got the job done today. Did you see it? 4 under. Wow. On the card, only 2 bogeys. Looks.
He's got to shoot. He's got to shoot like 4 over tomorrow. Like that has to be a lock. Has to be.
Yeah, that's possible.
You going to him?
I don't think. I was just like he's stone minimum, so I mean he may get in there for a few, but probably not heavy. So
what's the number again? Let's get the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is it 11? Yeah, 11 straight miscuts. The cut he did make was at the Sony Open 65th, and then a cut before that. So essentially like 13 straight miscuts.
He can make 9 birdies tomorrow and 9 bogeys and miss or whatever it would have to take. You know what I'm saying? But as long as, because I guess I was saying he was 2 over, he's 2 under. But whatever it takes for him to score enough in Showdown at 6K, we'll be all right. So that's the only reason I'm thinking that. Yeah. 2 more I'm going to do, and then I'll kick it to you if you want anything else so we can get out of here. Russell Knox today, I'm trying to look this up, but man, I was looking at he gained 3 on approach. I was waiting to see the big spike. It's not the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 holes where he gained on approach. Yeah. Very solid. Lost around the green, lost with the putter, just 1 under, but 3 birdies, 2 bogeys, the rest pars. He is 6,100 tomorrow. I've seen worse. The guy does have a track record of courses like this. Like it used to play well back in the day at RBC Heritage, tree line, shorter track, all that type of stuff. So again, maybe he's got something there. Your guy, Richie Wierenski.
Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy.
He looks all right.
With Knox, like obviously been playing poor, but it's like if he's gonna find it, it's this sort of track. You know, this is the course for a guy like Russell Knox, right?
Yeah. I think that's what I'm saying. Exactly that. If it's going to be somewhere, it's going to be somewhere like
it's going to be here. Yeah, it's going to be here. And you know, he's a guy as a year ago was playing much better golf. Another guy that's kind of been in the tank lately. So
I'll cross-reference some of this after. We'll have the whole pool set up over at Ship It Nation. The other guy I looked at down here was Fratelli. He's sitting T7, so it is what it is. But if you go look, it's like really solid round. Only 1 bogey, 4 birdies, approach across the board, good off the tee, good around the green. Will people really go to Fratelli tomorrow? I don't know, but he's 6,000. So I guess if they are going to the bottom, that's where they'd go. You could make that the case for as to why you go to Troy Merritt. But just to bring it up from that perspective, I think that was one other guy I wanted to talk about. And then Sam Stevens, his last one for Antonio in the chat mentioned it. Sam Stevens, he's talking about not having his irons. I mean, he definitely didn't have his irons. He was good off the tee, though. So round. What's his price tomorrow on the slate?
6,800. It's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing pretty well, too. I mean, made the cut at the PGA Championship. It looks like 5 out of 6 made cuts. Yeah, I don't hate that. It might not be a bad play. A guy that's really, I mean, he would be like unowned at 6,800, 1 over.
For sure, he'll be unowned. All those guys we mentioned around there. And then Michael Kim even pops up at the top of the board with good stats. I think people would rather go there. We'll check that one out and see. And then I didn't mention my guy, Aaron Rye. Last guy. He is
another guy just can't play.
He sucks at putting, man. It's so bad. Yeah. It's always the same shit. He's so good at scrambling. He won the Scottish Open. We talk about him in the past. He did. We talk about it. He scrambles to 5 feet and then he misses the 5-footer. Yeah. So tilting. And he's 3 birdies today, 4 bogeys, solid stats, but his putter was lost. Yeah. And that's kind of the case. So I don't know if I'll have him yet either, but the final pool will go up within probably the next 20 minutes to half hour. We'll have the core report up over at Ship It Nation. Again, if you didn't sign up yet and you want to get in, it's everything we've got on the site included for the one low price. Right now, there is the promo pricing of $59 a month or $5.99 for the annual. There's projections for all the sports we have except golf, but golf is to be determined. We are working on that. So if we can get those in there, that will be great. But for right now, we have them for the other 4 sports as they come around. A lot of great stuff going on with MLB. And then with the PGA stuff, everything going on right now. The best thing is if you sign up for a month, listen to this run. You get the rest of this weekend with Showdown and all that. Memorial, RBC Canadian Open, my local. That's my open. My
there we go.
Country. Then you get hoops. Your guys, as most people watch.
Are we back to back?
Canadian.
Are we back to back?
Yeah. And then people will complain about the Travelers Championship after that. But don't forget, that's a designated event this year. So, I mean, all of that getting included in your monthly, the Rocket Mortgage the next week. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on right now.
Hey, I can promise you one thing. All right. If you're a member at Ship It Nation for the Rocket Mortgage, you will have boots on the ground. Your boy will be working the ground all week at Rocket Mortgage. So I'll get the inside info for us.
Yeah, he goes out. He gets the what is it? Chess and Hadley, the local.
Yeah, it's my son's favorite golfer. Nice guy. I mean, it's super.
Who's the guy
nice
that's not a nice guy? He's the nice guy. Who's the not?
It was McCarthy, Denny McCarthy. He was a dick. Him and his caddy were not friendly.
The D in Denny stands for dick, right? That's the one. So all right. Well, I think that's gonna do it. Hoop. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, just starting to enter the cores, and one of them. I already kind of spilled the beans on one, but feeling good about tomorrow. So getting these other ones entered in for us here.
Yeah, appreciate it, and appreciate everybody for watching. Last week was close for the anniversary. I ended up getting, you guys saw on the show, we were sweating it, but it was like 12, 16, 21st. So like we're just trying to go back. So got to get the job done this weekend. Love round 2. It's going to be great for any of the members. Hit us up in the Discord if you have any questions. For everybody else, thanks for watching and supporting here. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe for Mayo Media Network. Get signed up. We'll be back here tomorrow night for the round 3 show. Hoop and myself again. As always, thanks for watching. For Hoop, for Tambo, let's ship it.